This is us explaining the birds. And here we're going to go through the first 10, starting with the water birds. I guess they're called water birds. Is that what
Yeah,
yeah,
waterfowl.
waterfowl, and ending up with a couple of hawks. So first one up here is the snowy egret.
The snowy egret is, as you can see, a white bird, long legs. And the three things that are important to remember about the snowy egret is that they have a black beak, black legs, but then yellow feet. Okay? And you can see on the image there, that's a normal size egret, what's called a great egret, and the snowy egret is smaller. It's a smaller bird. So white bird, snowy.
Is that where it gets its name, Snowy?
I don't know, but that's what was. It makes sense to me. It's a white bird, so it's snowy. But then it's been digging around in the soot or walking around in something,
Okay.
and it's got
mud. They live in ponds, right?
There you go. There you go. So it's got the black beak, but then it's got the clean feet because it walks around in the water.
There you go.
So the snowy egret.
All right, next bird is going to look really similar, especially in pictures when you can't compare them. Size-wise, this one is much larger. That's why it gets its name of the great egret. So the great egret is a white bird, once again, long neck, long bill, and long legs. But to show how it's different from the snowy egret, what you have is a yellow beak with black feet.
Right, so that's the difference between the snowy and the great. The great egret is much bigger, has the yellow beak, not the black beak, and then when you see it flying off down on this picture, you've got black feet, not yellow feet.
Let's show them a side-by-side comparison.
What a great idea.
Fantastic. All right, here we go. Here they are right next to each other. You don't always get this kind of picture in the wild when you're trying to identify, but we found one just for you guys.
Yeah, so you can see the differences. You've got a lot taller bird on the great egret. It's a great in size. And then you have the snowy egret here. They're both white birds. They both hang out in the water, hard to distinguish, but you know the difference because you're TCA bird watchers.
Does this red eye mean anything? I mean, is that a way to tell the difference?
That is a way. The snowy egret does have the red eye, and when you have your binoculars, you'll be able to make that distinction. They also have this long hair in the back as well, and they can stand that up. And the great egret doesn't have that and use that as much. But you can see yellow beak, black beak, black legs for both. But then the difference is the snowy has the yellow feet, and the great has the black feet. The next bird, we move from egrets to herons. This one is called the little blue heron because it's blue in color. It's got a blue hue to it on its body.
Is he little?
He's smaller than the big one, which is called the great blue heron.
So in bird talk, great means big and little means little.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The little blue heron has a blue body with the red neck. You kind of see this burgundy wine neck. This is on the adults, so you see it on both pictures. And then it has a very unique beak to it. It has the blue beak, but then it has a black tip to it. They're easy to find in the field, and they're easy to distinguish from the others just because of these markings.
They're pretty much a solid color, a solid blue. So that helps tell the difference between these and the other egrets.
And when you're looking in the woods or in a pond for them, they're very secluded. They like to hang out along the edges, and if there's any type of human, most of the time they're going to fly off. So you have to be very quiet and very good bird watcher to find this guy.
All right, this guy's pretty much the opposite side of the spectrum, right? This would be the great blue heron. So he's great in size. He's large, the largest of the herons that I know of.
Yeah.
And he is considered blue.
Yeah.
Now you might see these pictures and say he doesn't look blue.
Yeah, he does look kind of gray.
Kind of gray. So he's technically blue. The picture of him in flight here, he's got these nice blue feathers kind of underneath. When he's just perched, those tuck underneath and you don't really see them very well. But he does have blue feathers on there.
Yeah.
So he does have the name of the blue heron. What else is distinctive about this guy?
Well, he has this black and white striped head. So when you look closely on this, and he looks like almost like me, kind of gray-headed. I don't have the eyebrows like that.
No, no. My grandfather had eyebrows
Yeah,
like that.
really.
Started going crazy
Yeah.
like bird eyebrows.
So that's an easy distinction also. This is a massive bird. This is one of the biggest birds in North America. It's tall. It's obvious when you see one of these guys. So, if I were naming this bird, I would probably call it a great blue heron also, because great gray heron,
It's a little hard to say.
yeah, just it doesn't work. So we took that color of gray and turned it named it blue. So that's why we call this one the great blue heron.
All right, this is the last heron. He's the smallest of our 3 herons, I think, right? Even compared to the little. Okay.
He is.
This would be the yellow-crowned night heron.
Yeah, what a
long,
mouthful.
That's a long name.
It is. But they named it because of a very distinct characteristic of this heron. One, it doesn't always come out at night, but they do a lot of their predation at night versus during the daytime like the others. But the reason they call it the yellow-crowned night heron is this area. Look on this picture right here. You can see these feathers that stick up, and these feathers will stain out, and they look yellow.
Okay.
And then they have these long mullet feathers, and the male has those. They get really long, and he uses those to swoon his lady
Okay.
herons.
So, guys, take notes. The mullet is good.
Mullet is still in, and so they'll stand those up like a mohawk.
Okay.
And then do his little strut.
That would be quite a feat if we could.
Yeah, maybe we could get some of our
mullet to mohawk.
Mullet to mohawk.
Nice.
Yeah,
Right.
I might pay to see that. And then, so when you're out in the field, you're going to see these again walking along the edge of a creek or a pond. And here is a marking. They have that blue body again. They have the crown. But I promise you, the first thing you're going to see is this white stripe under the eye. So you need to learn that marking, guys. They have the short, stout beak, and then they have that white stripe under the eye. So yellow-crowned night heron, blue body, crown feathers on the front, the black head with the white stripe.
All right, that's the end of our large water birds.
Right.
Now we have the smaller water birds. You might be familiar with this group. They're called ducks. Ducks. Yeah. They're not complicated, guys. They're ducks.
Yeah,
Okay.
just ducks.
Okay, so this is a wood duck. Not
That's
because
pretty.
they're made of wood. They
No.
live in the woods.
They live in the woods.
Okay.
The reason they're called the wood duck because they build their nest in the hollows of the tree. And so when we go out to White Rock Lake, you're going to see some little bird houses that they're called duck houses. So the wood duck, look up in the picture in the upper right-hand corner. You've got the male who has a very distinctive markings and colors and is beautiful. And then the female is a very drab color. You know why the female is?
It's actually typical in the bird family, right? And it's because the female generally has to sit on the nest and can't leave if a predator or something approaches. So she has to kind of remain blended in, look a little boring. And the male actually is designed to attract attention, either from the females or from the predators. It kind of works on both sides for them.
Yeah. So the wood duck, when you look at the colors, lots of colors, blues and browns and whites and greens. And look at that red eye. Isn't that cool? And so this is the way I remember that one. It looks like someone has painted a dog.
Yeah, like as if you've made a little model.
Yeah, so like a wooden model.
And there's his name.
There's his name.
All
so
right.
I take a wooden model of a duck and I paint it, all these different colors with all these bars and stripes, and I have a wood duck.
Fantastic.
The next duck is probably the most common duck in the entire world.
Wow.
And it is the mallard. Yeah. The mallard, again, when you look at the picture in the upper right-hand corner, you got the male that has all the distinctive coloring, and then you got the female on the left. See that there? Camouflage, blends in very well, even kind of hard to see in the picture.
Yeah. She's there on the left
Yeah.
now. So let me ask you a question. I'm pretty sure our viewers are wondering, do you have to know both for the test?
No.
Okay.
No. Let's just do the males. What do you think?
Yeah. I think that
Yeah.
sounds like a good
So we're only going to do males.
Just for any bird variety. With one exception, you're going to know the male instead of the female.
Okay, what's the exception?
Belted kingfisher. We'll get to that.
Okay.
But technically we have the female as the picture. But anyway.
Get out! I didn't know that.
Really? Okay. No. So the it's good for the field identification because if you can find the female, the male's not going to be too far away.
Right.
But for purposes of quizzes and tests, we'll always have the male in the picture. It might be a combined picture like you have here.
Yeah.
But
so the characteristics and the land markings that you're going to look for out in the wild or in the pond back behind your house is the male mallard has that very distinctive green head with that white, what we call a white necklace around its neck there.
These are going to be pretty easily recognizable because I see them everywhere.
This is one of my favorite ducks. Now this is actually called the blue-winged teal. Do you know the difference in a teal and a duck?
One is blue, like the color teal. No, I don't know.
Teal starts with a T and duck starts with a B.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. A teal is a small duck. So when you look at the comparison, this would be a mallard-sized duck, and then you have your tiny little teals.
Okay.
Tiny little teals. So we have a lot of different teals. There's the blue-winged teal, the green-winged teal. If your dad's a hunter, you know lots of teals. All right. Distinctive characteristics about the blue-winged teal, especially when you're out looking for them with binoculars. When you look in the field, you may only get a second or two to view the birds.
Yeah, they'll fly away if they know you're coming, or they're going in between trees, or any number of things.
So you only have a second or two to recognize them. So here's what you need to look for to know the blue-winged teal. Do you see right here on the male's face? That looks like a half moon. Okay, so we got a half moon right there. I think of the song Blue Moon.
Oh yeah.
You know?
I do know that song.
Yeah.
It's a little old for me, but I do know that song.
How does it go?
Blue moon.
Yeah, that's it.
I saw you standing alone.
Okay, so blue moon,
Yeah, there you go.
blue-winged teal.
Okay.
So when you see the moon on the face, think blue moon, and Mr. Zeiger singing.
Yeah.
And you've
Can't
got
get that out of your
the
head.
blue moon. No, I can't. Then they also have this huge white spot on its rump when it's in the water.
Okay.
So when you look across with the binoculars, you see these. You're going to see males and females mixed. But the first thing you're going to see, I promise you, is that big white spot and that half moon face. Now, if you look at this picture when they're in flight, look at that.
There's the blue wing.
There's the blue wing, and that's why they call it
A blue
teal. Exactly. Blue-winged teal.
All right, this takes us to a little bit of a different category now. These are starting up with the birds of prey. All right, we have a couple of hawks and a kestrel here. So this first hawk is the red-shouldered hawk.
It looks like Ed's shoulder.
Yeah, red-shouldered. There we go, red-shouldered hawk.
Ed the shoulder hawk.
No, red-shouldered hawk. He's called this because he is a hawk and has red shoulders.
They're pretty creative when they did the naming.
You know,
on these birds.
it's funny how sometimes they come up with the weirdest words for birds, and sometimes it's just obvious.
Yeah.
So here we are, red-shouldered hawk. As he has a red chest and a red shoulder while he's perched. So here's a perched specimen. But then while flying, sometimes while perched you can see the tail. Not always really, but definitely while flying overhead. If you're looking up at a hawk and you're trying to identify which type you have, you can see these nice black and white horizontal stripes or bars on the tail.
Mm-hmm.
That is a giveaway that you have a red-shouldered hawk.
Plus, on the tips of the wings, you're going to see a checkerboard, black and white.
Okay.
Shape. So you got the checkerboard and definitely these broad stripes while they're in flight. Mm-hmm. And then, like Mr. Zeiger said, it has the red shoulder and it has what we would call a solid red chest. Cool bird. You know, these are diurnal birds of prey.
So they're active during the day.
Active during the day.
And they eat meat.
And they eat meat.
Okay.
And they're protected. Federally protected. You know, you can't even own a feather of these things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Federal offense.
So if you're looking carefully, you'll notice a difference on the beak as well. Mm-hmm. The birds of prey have these short, hooked beaks designed for tearing meat. The egrets and the herons had long, pointy beaks for digging around in the mud, getting crustaceans and fish.
Yeah, kind of like spears.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, and a hawk's more like a can opener.
Doesn't eat cans though, but yeah. So here we have the other kind of hawk.
You ever seen one eat?
This is a red tail hawk.
You ever seen one eat?
They do this and they tear.
Okay. How do you know they don't eat cans?
I guess they could. Moving on, red-tailed hawk. Here we go. This is a you told me. I did the last one.
Okay, red-tailed hawk.
Okay.
The most common diurnal bird of prey in the area, and as you can imagine, how it got its name, it has the red tail feathers. So if you see a hawk flying around campus or where you live, it's probably one of two hawks. It's either this one, the red-tailed hawk, or the red-shouldered hawk. That's why we chose them and put them in our list this year. Distinctive characteristics that make these guys different from the red-shouldered hawk. One, they're a little bit bigger. I don't know if you noticed on the other slide, but these aren't the same size. This is our standard bird here. Red tail when you see it perched. And then they also, when you see it perched, after about 3 years of age, they'll get this band of stripes across the chest. So it's not a solid red. Let's go back to the other slide and look at the red-shouldered hawk. See, this is solid. So now go back forward, and you see a band. So it's a little bit different. And then in flight, it's different as well when you see the underside of them. You can still see the red tail, not the horizontal stripes. And this one is more a whitish color with a second stripe underneath. And look at that red right there. A lot of people confuse that with
a red-shouldered hawk.
Red-shouldered hawk.
Red on the
That's
shoulders,
right,
then.
because they haven't been through TCA 7th grade
No.
bird watching unit, and they don't know the difference. So you've got that very distinct band right up next to the shoulders, but then on this one, you don't have the checkerboard black and white. It's more red, so we keep it in the red band.
So this one is more bands on the underside of it, and the red-shouldered hawk is more checkerboard everywhere.
Checkerboard, yeah.
All right, this is our last of our hawks. This is the American kestrel.
The American kestrel
Lives in America.
Yeah,
Okay.
they probably live in other places,
Yeah.
but they're American.
American kestrel.
American.
Red, white, and blue.
Red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. Find the red, white, and blue. You guys see that? So you got red on the back and tail. You got the white in the body, and you got the big, pretty blue wings. Okay? So the American kestrel. Now, a kestrel is different from a hawk.
Like a teal is different from a duck.
Like a teal is different from a duck. So that's why it's called a kestrel and not a hawk.
So it's smaller.
It is much, much smaller. So here is our a silhouette of the red-tailed hawk, red-shouldered hawk. This is our American kestrel. As a matter of fact, your grandparents may have called that a sparrowhawk.
Okay.
Because it's very small. These guys hang out in the winter around our area, and you see them on highline wires and that when you get out in rural areas, and they look for little mice and bugs and things like that.
Now, the underside of this one looks to me a lot like the red-shouldered hawk. It's got the kind of a stripe and a checkerboard pattern. So, I guess size is a good way to tell the difference.
Very easily.
Okay.
And also the shape of the wing.
Okay.
A kestrel is a type of falcon.
All right.
Okay. Falcons are known to have two distinctive characteristics about them. One, their wings are triangular instead of more rectangular in shape. So if you go back, you see how these wings are more rectangular in shape?
I do.
And on the American kestrel,
We need a sound to play for that.
we do. I thought we had one.
Oh, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So the American kestrel, the wings are more triangular,
All right.
and the wings actually extend beyond. Can I move this? The wings actually extend beyond the tail when it's perched.
Longer than the tail.
Longer. It's really long wings that extend longer than the tail.
Okay.
Okay. So that's one distinctive characteristic of a kestrel or a falcon instead of a hawk. The second one is what we call the mailer's stripe.
Like the post office.
Yeah, like the post office. So the mailer stripe is the stripe that goes through the eye right here. And I think they use that in order to be able to see.
Kind of, it cuts down glare like the football players, right? Putting
Exactly. and baseball players.
Okay, athletic
Athletic.
participants.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They put those stripes under their eye, so they think that's what happens. It kind of breaks that up so they can see. Because some kestrels and falcons actually attack their prey in the air.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's one
They
that
don't
flies.
go all the way to the ground.
Yeah, there's one that flies high above like ducks and seagulls and other birds. And when they pick a prey, they dive over 200 miles an hour. And they take their claws and punch it when they go by. Can you imagine getting hit by something going 200 miles an hour? It knocks you out of the sky, and then they float down. And
Wow.
I mean, it could be a can, I guess. We haven't decided if
Flying
falcons.
can though doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, that's an airplane, isn't it?
I think if they tried to punch an airplane, they'd be the ones in trouble.
Yeah, you're probably right. Okay, so the American kestrel.
All right, that's our first set of birds, going from the egrets to the herons, the ducks, and the teal, 2 hawks and a kestrel.
Right.
Whenever you feel prepared for that, you would come into class and take the quiz over those birds.
Right.
You can watch this video as much as you want. We have the pictures available to study from, and when you are prepared, you come in and do it.
Yeah. So don't take your quiz until you're ready, but you have to take this quiz before you can go to the next set of birds. If you have any questions, find us. Enjoy.